just got back from seeing Karate Kids Legends. We when we went out to check out the movie, and we want to welcome you all to our spoiler review. I want to warn everyone who's watching in advance. This will be very spoilery. We're going to talk details. We're going to give you the low on what we liked and what we didn't like. And I'm going to start it off uh, by handing it over to DK and just tell him quickly how you feel about the movie. And if you want, we'll save our ratings for the end. All right. So
Okay,
just
no
quickly,
number.
quickly just tell them what did you think about the movie? Quickly, really briefly.
Good, but it almost fell apart at the end.
Okay. All right. For me, I thought it was terrible. Um, I personally, I felt like this could have been on Cobra Kai. This could have been an extension of a Cobra Kai episode. This totally could have been on Netflix. I don't know why this movie was made and why it was there doesn't seem to be a reason for this movie to be made other than a cash grab to try to unite two supposed to be separate franchises, and then they united them unnecessarily. So let's get right into it. So the movie starts right off the get. We are in we're in China, at
Beijing.
Beijing specifically. We're at um uh Jackie Chan's school, Mr. Han.
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr.
Han's
Han.
Mr. Han's school. And he's it's like his school is flourishing, right? He's gone from being a janitor to being like a very popular martial arts instructor. He's got like lots and lots of students. And if you watch, you pay attention, they're using some of the same teaching techniques that he did on what's his name? Choi Dre?
Xiao Dre.
Shell Dre,
Yeah.
uh, Jaden Smith's character
Yeah.
from his Karate Kid movie. Yes, and I have a big problem with that movie being called Karate Kid. But anyway, um, so he's teaching lots of students, and then they kind of focus over on Ben Wong's character Li Fong, right?
Mhm.
And Li Fong is on the Wing Chun dummy and he's practicing. He's got his headphones on. He's doing his own thing separate from some of the other students. When they introduce his mom, played by Ming Na Wen, who arrives, and I guess they see her coming. So Jackie Chan sends like a young student to intercept her and slow her down to give Lee a chance to like go hide because I guess he's not right. He's not supposed to be training in martial arts.
Yeah,
She
his
she
mom didn't want that for him.
yeah, she forbid him from training in martial arts. And so uh she realizes that the little girl's trying to run interference. Then Jackie Chan goes up to her. If I got that right, they're related, right? That's
Yeah,
his uncle, so that's her brother.
I believe
That's
so.
her
Yeah.
brother.
Hmm.
So like her older brother. And so they have a little spat going back and forth. Like she don't want him learning martial arts. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Hmm.
And she doesn't want him learning martial arts, and she's kind of forbidding him. And then she breaks out an announcement. Now Lee is behind a wall, and he can hear the conversation between Ming Na and Jackie Chan, and so he's listening. And she's like, I got a job in New York. And so she breaks out some baseball caps. And she's like, hey, I got a job in New York. Hey, Lee, I know you're hiding behind that wall, blah, blah, blah. So he comes out, he runs up to mom, and they get into a quick little spat. Like, why you didn't even ask me? Why are you keeping secrets from me? And she's like, I'm not the only one keeping secrets. You're not supposed to be here. And so that was pretty much it. And then they whisk off. Am I correct? They whisk off to New York,
Yeah,
right?
they transitioned to them moving to New York.
Yeah, and it's just a snap of the fingers. They're in New York. They walk into their apartment. Boxes are already there waiting for them. Um,
They have their suitcases with them.
Suitcases with them. They come in. They get settled in. And then as they're still the movie doesn't waste any time. As they as they are putting their things away, the kid's hungry, and he's like, "Hey, mom, I'm gonna step out and see if we can find something to eat for us. I thought I saw a pizza parlor around the corner. Around the corner. So he walks around the corner. He walks in, and I'll let you go. You can tell a bit.
Yes. So he's actually trying to find a place where they could get not just food, but like toilet paper, just stuff they could get as far as like groceries are concerned. So he finds the nearest local pizza shop and he walks in, he asks for some pizza, and at first he gets not a rude welcome, but like sarcastic response from the
Typical
people
New
who
York, typical
yeah.
New York, smarmy kind of. Yeah.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
And then, after that, the girl who works at the pizza shop, I don't know the actress's name.
Her name is Mia. I don't know the actress's name, but
Yeah, but
her name is Mia.
Mia, that's her name in the movie.
Yeah.
She, comes up and actually takes his order, and, he then asks like, "Hey, can I get some toilet paper too?" And it's like that's funny because it's like unexpected. But he's like, "All right, context. I actually need to. I need to know if there's like a grocery store around here." And then she lets him know there's like a bodega nearby. But it's basically just him getting used to where he is, and like she introduces herself. She welcomes him to where they are.
It's important to note too that okay, so the mom is a doctor.
Yeah.
So that's the job offer she got to work in a New York hospital,
Mhm.
and they speak perfect English. So
She explained
they
it.
explain it later in the movies because the girl Mia, she asks, "Why is your English so good?" And then he explains it. And so, uh, go ahead, please continue.
Yeah, so they explained it, because eventually we find out that these 2 end up going to the same school, but they don't know it at first. Um, he finds out after she was trying to handle, like, a package or, like, a delivery for their pizza shop, and he helps her out, and from there, they get to start to get to know each other, and
Yeah,
start becoming friends.
so she takes him on a tour.
Yeah.
She takes him on a tour on her moped, and
Mhm.
they drive around. And he's on the back, and she's driving him around, showing him Times Square, some of the the Empire State Building, stuff like that. And eventually, the moped breaks down. So the moped breaks down. So they're pushing it now. So now they got to get home. They got to take the train. So they're on the train, and sorry, there's I don't want to tell the whole movie like beat for beat because that would be kind of lame, but
Yeah.
uh they do at some point where they're when they're walking around New York, they do pass by a dojo,
Mhm.
right? And in the dojo, it's a karate dojo, karate. And so she sh- she bumps into the owner of the dojo, who has very little in this movie, if at all. Not like John Kreese's character um in the original Karate Kid. This owner of this dojo, he's basically has nothing to do. He's like a very
Next to no screen
no
presence.
screen presence whatsoever.
Yeah.
So anyway, he has words with her, and we find out, which we left out earlier, that the pizza place owner is Pacey from Dawson's Creek. I think his name's Joshua Jackson or something like that. Joshua Jackson, or I think that's his name.
Mhm.
But anyway, he's her father, and he owns the pizza place. Well, he's in debt, and he owes the owner of um no,
He
no,
took
no.
he took out a loan
He took out a loan.
mhm,
Right. I'm
from
sorry.
some
Go.
crooks that he shouldn't have,
Right.
and now he's in debt to them.
He's in debt to them. So you need to know that. So anyway, so she tells, I want to say Daniel so bad. She
Mhm.
tells Ben Wong's character, Lee Fong, hey, stay away from this street. Don't even bother going into that dojo. Stay away from it. He's like, why? She's like, hey, just trust me. It's a bad place to go, blah, blah, blah. So later on in the movie, when their moped breaks down and they're on the train, oh, because the dojo, we're very immature, but
Mhm.
the dojo owner, when he bumps into Lee Fong and Mia on the street, goes immediately into his dojo where the bad guy, um, God, what is his name?
I think in the movie it's
Connor.
Connor. Yeah.
Connor. Connor is training. Boom, boom, boom. He's doing karate and everything. And then the owner's like, hey, I just saw Mia. She's with some new guy. She moved on already. And so I guess to establish that Connor's a bad guy, the guy who he's training with kind of snickers and he's like, oh, that's supposed to be funny. He goes, hey, it was a funny joke. He's like, you're right. I need to lighten up. And then kicks the guy in the face. That's as a means to like establish he's bad. He's bad. Ooh. It doesn't come off. I'm gonna tell you that right now. The guy who plays Johnny in the original Karate Kid, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna do this a lot. All right. I have to keep going back to this movie because basically this movie is trying to emulate everything from the original, right? And they do it terribly, unsuccessfully. All right. So this kid also does not have charisma or a presence, unlike Johnny, because Johnny, his pursuit of the love interest in the original Karate Kid, it was genuine. You could see it. You could see the history between them. Even at the beach party, the fireside beach party that they were having, they don't set it up that way, right? They just tell us.
Right. It's more told to
Told
us as opposed to being shown to us.
Right.
Yeah.
So that right there removes some of the heart from the movie. Be that as it may, so they're on the train, the moped isn't working, and of all the trains, of all the cars on the train, who shows up on their train? Connor and some of his boys.
Mm-hmm.
So he has words with Mia, and you know, Mia's like, whatever, we're leaving. She wants to move. She's like, move out of the way. And he's like, no, why should I? And of course, Li Fong, because she asked you to. And then there's a stare down, and then Connor's like, all right, cool, go ahead, pass. So then he lets Mia pass with the moped, and then as Li Fong is walking past, he sucker punched him and clipped him in the eye. All right, so shenanigans. Okay, so black eye. Okay, he doesn't fight back. He just gets clipped in the eye.
No, because his mom told him not to fight.
Mom told him not to fight. So now they go back to the pizza place, and Joshua Jackson, the father,
he dresses up his wound with makeup, so that it won't show.
So that it won't show. And he tells him, put tea bag, ice, blah, 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 which the mom still figures it out, right? And that's when we learned that, he's a boxer. That's how he knows how to dress, take care of an eye and all this kind of stuff like that.
His wife showed him.
Right. And so, and so now we're into the movie. And again, mom, he's sleeping. Li Fong is sleeping. Mom wakes up, takes the tea bag off of his eye, and they have words. At this juncture, or at some point, we learned that Li Fong had an older brother who was a martial arts champion. And
his name was Bo in the movie.
Was his name Bo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he does some training with him and everything. And there's like a special move. It's like some kind of dragon kick. Really, what it is a cyclone. For those of you that know martial arts, if you understand tricking, it's a cyclone kick, and it's typical type of tricking type flare move or whatever. And he was trying to show it to him. So then it's like foreshadowing to let us know, like, that's gonna play a role in this movie, like that special move.
Mm.
So then we get back. Okay, so now we get back to the story, and Li Fong's like, hey, I'll teach you Chinese. You show me around New York, blah blah blah. I think that was when they rode the bike, right? Or that happened before or after. I think that happened. The bike thing. He said, no, that happened before. I'm sorry.
That happened before.
Yeah.
Because the moped broke down,
right?
And he went to like some local place nearby where there was like a clerk. She was also Chinese.
This stuff is, we don't even need to talk about this, D, because this stuff it doesn't even matter. I don't want to tell this whole story because I'm already over it already. So anyway, he sees that there's a tournament that's happening. It's called the Five Boroughs or whatever. And so he learns about it. We gotta have an All Valley tournament, right? Meanwhile, and this is the part This is the part that is incredibly frustrating. I want you all to know this so that you understand this. Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso don't appear until more than halfway through the movie. And it's they are nothing more than a plot device. They are there for the training montages, which I hated, but we'll get to that. So there's a tournament, but here's the part that's frustrating. We now get this side story, right? That Mia's father, who's in this debt, wants to enter into a boxing tournament so that he can win some prize money to get himself out of debt. All right. But right before that, right before he asked, the day before, a couple things happen. First, when Li Fong is at school, he bumps into Connor again. And Li Fong attempts to do the Cyclone Dragon spinning kick thing, right?
Because you got tired of Connor pushing him around.
Because him and Connor was getting into it, and so they have a quick fight, and Connor is kicking his ass,
toying with him,
basically toying with him.
He didn't even have his hands out. He
said, "I'll keep my hands in my pocket," and he whooped his ass. So he now has the idea. Let me do the spinning dragon cyclone kick, and that'll finish him off. So he does it to no avail. It's totally telegraphed, which is why you should not flare in a fight. You should not trick in a fight. If you're in a fight, don't trick. Don't do all these spinning, flip. You're telegraphing. They're just waiting for you to land, and they're going to knock your ass out. But anyway, it's exactly what happens. He does the flare spinning cyclone kick. It doesn't land. Dude basically sidestepped it. Pop! Kicked him in the face.
And then the school staff had to break it up.
And then the staff broke it up.
Yeah.
That was the first thing. Now, he comes home. He can't sleep because he's so angry. He's thinking about everything that's happened. And he goes downstairs to start working. He's going to try to work on Mia's bike, her moped.
Yeah.
So he starts to disassemble it and start playing with the engine. And as he's doing it behind the pizza place and he's messing with the engine, some thugs show up as Joshua Jackson's character is throwing out the garbage. And they're going to rough him up because he hasn't paid his debt. Enter Li Fong, who everybody was kung fu fighting, and
trying to protect him.
And I'm confused because a minute ago or earlier that day, he's fighting Connor, and he looks like trash.
I wasn't confused because how I saw it was
I know
against normal bums,
exactly
thugs, he can handle them.
Yeah,
but when
yeah.
It's somebody who knows martial arts.
Yep, exactly. So he's good. He's good enough to fight regular people, but then when he fights someone who knows martial arts and is skilled,
karate,
not so good. So anyway, in the traditional, you all know it when you see it, Jackie Chan style, the Rumble in the Bronx, using things in the environment to kind of boom, 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 boom. And he's doing it. He's doing all the rolls, the flips, the turns, stunts, all the stuff that Jackie Chan normally would do when he was in his younger movies like Rumble in the Bronx.
He looks good while doing it.
It looks good. It's stylized fighting, but okay, fine. So the father was watching because he got knocked down. He was watching the whole thing. So then when it's over, he asked the kid to train him in give him some secrets, some kung fu moves, some secrets and things. And this is another problem that I have with the movie, right? So he wants to, hey, give me some training, some teach me some kung fu so that I can incorporate it into my boxing. It'll help me win the fight.
Because he was a former boxer. Yeah.
And so we get this, right? And so a lot like in all the Karate Kid movies where you're using things that you don't traditionally use to teach someone kung fu, you're using those things. So everything is kung fu. So you know what's kung fu? Making pizza. Making pizza is kung fu. So knead the dough, pound the dough. all this stuff is crazy. And he's teaching him, right? The thing that you the thing that you use to flip to pull the pizza out of the oven and push it in, that shovel type thing, all that learning. It's freaking hilarious. Okay, so we're still on this now. This is like 30 minutes of the movie, this whole thing, training montage, the whole thing. So now we get to the fight, right? We get to the fight,
Mhm.
and they're there, and the daughter's there. Li Fong is his corner man, and he's gonna fight, right? And the guys that he owes money to is there, and he's like, "This is how you're gonna give me my money?" And this and that. He's like, "Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't bet against
Don't
me.
bet against me." He's like,
Mm.
"I already did." But anyway, so the match starts. The boxing match starts. So at first, he's getting his ass handed to him, and then all of a sudden, he starts incorporating. I guess he starts incorporating kung fu. Now I can tell you of what I know of boxing. In a regular boxing match, you're not allowed to use anything that even remotely looks like martial arts. The ref will warn you. But this is like underground boxing, so I guess it was allowed. So he's doing moves, he's dodging, he's weaving, he's doing all these. He's using parts of the glove that are not allowed. He's doing all this stuff, and he he's winning. And just when he's about to win, the bad guys, the guys he owes money to, sitting down with his boys, looks over at the other boxer and tells him, like, use your elbow.
That
So
was the first illegal hit of the fight.
yeah, and so he bam smashed him in the face,
Smashed with his
and
elbow.
then he knocked him out. Boom, right? But I mean, I think he did it like maybe twice, and he really put him down. So now he needs to go to the hospital. He's knocked out. He's out. Like something's wrong. And the little girl, Mia's like, "Oh my god, oh my god." Well, Li Fong is standing there at the corner, kind of like how Sylvester Stallone was standing when Apollo got beat up by Drago, froze, like he can't move. And she's like, "Help me, help me." And he's just standing there, frozen. He's having flashbacks as to what happened to his brother. And this is the reveal that his brother was a martial arts champion and that he won a contest,
Mhm.
right? That he won a contest. And the night of after winning the contest, Li Fong and his brother said,
Oh yeah, they
they're
got attacked.
they're walking and they get attacked by the loser of the fight, kind of like what's the movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Tong Po,
Oh,
kickboxer.
kickboxer.
So now they show up, him and his boys, they jump on them. So Li Fong and his brother are fighting these guys.
One guy pulls out a
One
knife.
Right, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, so one guy pulls out a knife and then he ends up stabbing Bo, but not before Bo is asking for help. And
Right,
in that point in time,
Li Fong
Li
froze.
Fong froze because he didn't know what to do after seeing the knife getting busted out.
Right.
He
So
actually told this story to Joe, Mia's father, before this boxing fight happened.
So he froze. So
Mhm.
now he's freezing again because
Yeah,
he sees Mia's father on the ground.
laid out just like his
She's like,
brother.
"Help, help!" The same way that Jackie Chan was saying, "Help, help!" at the same time when Bo was on the ground, stabbed in the back. So
Yeah.
he froze. So they rush him to the emergency room, and of course, Ming Na, who is wasted in this movie, right, is apparently she works in that hospital, maybe in the emergency room. So
Because they established she's a doctor.
right.
Yeah.
And so she, comes out. "I thought I told you not to fight." He's like, "I was just training him, blah, blah, blah." And she kind of reprimands him or whatever. And then she goes in, I gotta go save this man. So she goes in. And Mia is disappointed in Li Fong because she felt like in the moment that she needed him, he froze up. So that kind of puts a stinker in their relationship, right? So uh now Li Fong is home and he is distraught. Meanwhile, Mr. Han, his uncle, has been calling him and he's not answering his phone. So Mr. Han, worried about Li Fong, goes all the way from Beijing to New York.
He actually did answer the phone once because
That was earlier. That
remember
was
because he was asking like, "Is it okay if I train this guy?"
yeah, that was
Yeah.
earlier. That was earlier.
Mm.
By the way, the kid's not good enough to train anybody. But all right, we'll just go
Mr.
along with
Han
it.
gives him the okay.
We'll just go along with it. But
Yeah.
anyway, so now this kid is distraught. He don't want to answer his phone. So Mr. Han travels in a blink of an eye, travels to New York, and we got to establish a fight scene. So uh Lee Fong comes home. He noticed that some pots were moving. You probably have seen this in the there. I think they had this as a clip. You see some pots moving.
One of the windows is open.
One of the windows is open. The door's locked. He's like, "What? What's going on?"
So he grabs a pot.
She grabs a pot, and then he's attacked. Right, and it's again very stylistic, very Jackie Chan esque kind of again that using the elements in the kitchen to fight is kind of weird, but why is your uncle attacking you? But okay, it was obviously Mr. Han. So boom, 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 they pot fight, boom, boom, table flip, boom, slip, all this stuff, and
Mom
then
comes home.
mom comes home right as they like kind of play it off or whatever.
Fine.
It's weird, but okay. So she's like, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I thought this was a good time to visit." Blah blah blah. Immediately, he tells they go visit the father at the hospital. Mia doesn't want to talk to Li Fong, but Li Fong speaks to him because now he's woke. He's awoke,
He woke
woken up. He woke up from his whatever being knocked out, and he talks to him, and he's like, we're just gonna move, blah blah blah. And he's like, no, we're gonna help you with your problem. So they leave the hospital, and Mr. Han says, you're gonna enter into this tournament. Now, I never heard it. I was paying very close attention.
Yeah.
They never said, oh, $50,000 prize money or something like that. They never even attached a monetary value to whoever wins the 5 borough tournament. So I don't know how Mr. Han was like, you're going to enter the tournament. That's how you're going to help this family. That's how you're going to help this pizza guy. They never said anything about money. But okay, let's pretend that it was on the flyer. I didn't see it. He says, you're going to enter into this tournament. And he's like, well, how am I going to, enter this tournament? The tournament's like in 2 weeks. So you're going to train. So he's like, okay. And then he's like, but first I have to go see someone. And again, just like that, now he's in California.
I didn't mind the fast transitions, but that one got me because I was like, wait a second.
Look, they made it seem like he took a cab from New York.
I even asked in the theater.
He took a cab from New York to
Like,
California.
that was fast. Like, oh.
Right. So now he's in Cali.
Yeah.
Okay. So now he's in Cali. And he's at, and it's a familiar visual, Mr. Miyagi's house that he had fixed up in Karate Kid 2 or 3. I can't remember. The same freaking cars are there. The yellow, you'll immediately recognize it. The yellow Beetle, all this Volkswagen. And so he just walks in, and then they kind of established that, they kind of established that, he knew
Mr.
him.
Han was a good friend of his.
Was a good friend of his, and how they come to know each other or whatever. And then Daniel walks in. He's like, did you know Mr. Miyagi? He's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And again, this is the stuff that you probably have seen already in the clips that they've shown online. So he's like, man, I wish I could help you, but I can't. He's like, you will. No, I'm not. Yes, you will. Da, da, da. Back and forth. I'll see you in New York. And he leaves. Like, this is literally, he flew all the way to Cali, right? Had a 10-second like a 5-minute conversation with him and left, right? And so now he gets back to New York, and he's like, where were you? Oh, I would see him, blah, blah, blah. Now they begin their training. So this is the part of the movie that I hated the most. Even more than the boxing thing, is the training montage. First and foremost, he has now, it was 2 weeks when he left to go to California. It's less than 2 weeks, like 10 days now. So now we go through this montage of training. right? And um, it happens very quickly where Daniel arrives. First, Mr. Miyagi's training him alone, and then Daniel arrives. And to supplement his kung fu training, Daniel is supposed to supplement that by teaching him uh,
Miyagi karate.
Miyagi karate. But Daniel said very correctly, you know, you can't teach someone karate in 10 days, right? Which, again, it doesn't make sense. It just seems like a device that they use so that they could put them together. It doesn't make any sense. There's nothing that he can learn in 10 days. I promise you, right? The base knowledge that he had of Kung Fu should be enough. And technically, for someone who studies, if you watch, not one time in the final battle did he use any karate technique whatsoever, other than in his stances. In his stances, they were very karate like in his stances, but executing and fighting, it was all kung fu, all of it, right? So, again, bizarre, right? And so during this training montage, there's a little bit of showmanship between um, Daniel LaRusso, who I still say his martial arts, his technique after all these years, it looks like trash, in my personal opinion. I never watched the Karate Kid movies because of the karate. Never. It was the story, it was the heart, it was which this movie to me is devoid of. So if all you're gonna do is just put in a kid who is a better martial artist than Daniel LaRusso ever was, the movie's not gonna succeed, right? Because the from what I saw in our theater, it was 10 people in that theater, maybe 12, right? 6 of them were children, like grown-ups who brought their children to see this movie. They're not watching, they're not gonna see anything that's gonna wow them. You see a bunch of people flipping around really quickly or whatever, but the movie doesn't have they don't have characters that are incredibly relatable. I know I've already gone to the end now.
Mhm.
it it lacks the heart. You've got underutilized characters. You've got characters who don't get enough screen time. And again, Miyagi and Daniel, I mean Miyagi, Daniel Larusso and Mr. Han, Jackie Chan, they're training him, but they're kind of continuously disagreeing. So in their disagreements, they're fighting and testing each other and doing their thing. And I'm just like, what is happening here? And they use Li Fong as basically as a prop, like a tug of war. They're constantly beating up on him to demonstrate. No, you should use this technique and flip the kid. And then, no, it should be this one. And they like what are they? That's not training. It was whack. I know it's just a movie, but I hated it. Okay. So the montage goes very quickly. Now, here's the thing that's different in this movie than they did in the original Karate Kid. The tournament, the tournament in the original Karate Kid is happening in one day. The tournament that's happening with the 5 boroughs is happening over a span of time. So in between the fights, they're still training him. So it's done as a stylized with cartoons and all this stuff that's being splashed together with an uninspired soundtrack. Very quickly it happens. You don't really get to appreciate any of the people who are fighting. I don't think you ever see Connor fight anyone. I think you're
You do.
only do you?
Yeah, you
Is
do.
there some fighting?
He does do some fighting.
Okay. So they're fighting other people, but it's very quick. It's not like how it was in Karate Kid where you could kind of see Butch and you can see, yeah, put him in a body bag. All those guys. It's none of that. It's just very, you know, uh almost like a video, like a music video montage, right? Very quick. And then we're at the main fight. All right, you go.
So we get to the main fight and it actually starts off pretty strong in Connor's favor. He gets like 4 points at the start. They also establish like before the tournament even begins that like certain parts of the body are worth different amounts
Point
of
system.
points. So, like,
So a strike to the face is worth 2 points.
mhm,
To the torso is 1 point.
yeah, and he already gets like 4 points off of Li
Right off
Fong at the
rip.
start.
hmm
Yeah. Eventually Li Fong gets his bearings, but it's close. Like, it gets to a point where they're like at 7-7, and the last hit decides the winner. Um, and in that last for the next hit that decided the winner, Li Fong decides to try the move that his brother showed him, and the one that Connor caught him on.
Now
But
tell him about that part of the train. I left that part out.
right, so um before this final fight, they established that Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han, they decided to come up with a counter because Li Fong told them about how he tried that move against Connor and it didn't work. So he's like, you know what? Let's use that. If it's telegraphed enough for him to just catch you like that, we're gonna trap him. So they work on a skill in the subway where
In the
he,
subway.
yeah, they practice that same move in the subway, except this time they also have him work on like his ducking and his
But
sliding.
tell them what they do in the subway
Yeah.
specifically. What do they do?
So they have him practice the move on a
The
turnstile.
turnstile.
Yeah,
Yes.
turnstile.
Yes.
And he does the move. He goes up in the air, he goes down, and he tries to like duck and slide under
The
the
metal bar.
turnstile,
Right.
the bar. But he keeps hitting his head over and over. And that scene admittedly makes you wonder where security's at. Like,
Right. How are they just doing this in the train station when it's New York? It's very
yeah.
busy.
And
People are just like, okay, let him try this move. Even the
there was one lady who was like, "How long is this gonna go on?"
but she's like a policeman or something,
Yeah.
like or like security, and
Yeah.
she's like, how long is it gonna go? And he keeps doing it. But eventually he does the move.
Yeah.
So now we know. See, this is again, they ruined it by telling us what's going to happen. Now, if you ever watched the original Karate Kid, each time in the first 3 movies, you don't know what it is he's gonna do. The first one, crane style. The second one, he's doing this, right? Punching the guy. In the third one, he's doing kata, right? This one, they tell us what's going to happen.
That's true.
So we know it's coming, right? And then I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, the score is 7-7. He pulls off the move. He ducks under Connor. He pulls off like getting underneath Connor's kick, like his attack to like catch him with the telegraph. And then he maneuvers. He kicks him in the chest. He wins the point. And it seems like it's all done. Like Li Fong finally won. But then when his back is turned, as he starts to walk to his group, Connor tries to get him in one more dirty hit by like running up to him and attacking him. And right when his group is about to warn him, Li Fong like he dodges out of the way. He dodges Connor.
Another move that Jackie Chan did earlier in the movie.
Maneuvers out of the way, pins Connor to the ground, and then has him in a situation where he's about to punch him like dead in his face. And for a second, Dad and I thought it was gonna be another live or die, man, like another situation like that.
Yeah, they set it up. They set it up to make it look like he was gonna go to his nose and go, honk, like that whole thing. But they didn't do it though. If they would have done that, I would have been pissed. I'd be like, that shit is corny. But
no, but it's actually kind of surprising because he has him dead to rights at that moment, and then everyone's wondering what he's gonna do. He actually slams his fist down, but he doesn't hit his face. He just hits the ground like next to him.
Right.
And so everyone was worried for a second because they thought he just punched him dead in his face.
And then that's the end, and there's a celebration.
Yeah.
And then there's the title card. Karate Kid Legends.
No.
Everybody's kind of bowing to each other. Everybody bows to each other. There's a title card, and then there's an end credit.
End credit scene.
Right?
Yeah.
I was hoping after watching this bullshit, I was hoping that we would get to see Jaden Smith. Right? There is no mention of him in this movie whatsoever. And even Jackie Chan even tells LaRusso that Li Fong is to me what you were to Mr. Miyagi. And I was like, damn,
No mention of
no
Shao Dre.
mention of Shao Dre whatsoever, huh? Wow.
I think
So
because Jaden Smith's in a different place now.
it's just whatever. But instead, we get basically a scene from Cobra Kai,
Mhm.
which is Johnny Lawrence,
Yes.
and it's just a joke. Johnny Lawrence and uh because he's the kid sends him a frozen pizza. Like, if you ever need me, I'll be there. Right?
Also, you owe
You
an
owe me.
$1,100 tip
Right.
from New York to LA.
And so he's got the pizza. I
Mhm.
guess he's about to share the pizza. When he comes back into the house, Johnny is there. And then they start talking. It's like a back and forth, but it's like joking about, hey, that's what we should do. We should open our own
Pizza
pizza
chain.
pizza chain, and we'll call it Miyagi Dough. Get it? Miyagi Dough. And then Johnny just does a bunch of different takes off of like wax on, wax off. He's like pepperoni on, pepperoni off, like this type of thing. He's like, we can make a lot of money. And that's it. That is it. Bullshit. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you all. Uh, don't go see this movie. I'm sorry. It's a cash grab, clearly, an attempt to try to unite. And I distinctly remember when Cobra Kai was at its height and people were saying, hey, are you gonna get Jaden Smith? Are you gonna bring Jackie Chan into it? And I remember Ralph Macchio saying, these are in two separate universes. This is not even remotely. And then lo and behold, some writer came up with this, and that's how they were able to unite these. Um, I can tell you that it's very kung fu heavy, as far as the fighting styles. The choreography, it was decent, um, but it the stakes weren't felt. You don't feel the stakes. You don't feel the menace of this kid as a bad guy. He looks like the type of bad guy that would be on Cobra Kai.
Mhm.
He doesn't have that true feel. Get on that line, LaRusso. Get on that line. He doesn't have none of that menace, right? That the previous bad guys had in the other movies. He looks like he could be in Cobra Kai. Um, Ming Na still looking fabulous, looking just as young as she did when she was like on ER or Big Bang, not Big Bang Theory, Two and a Half Men. She looks fantastic, underutilized. She doesn't have a moment. I feel like she deserved like a teary moment, a teary-eyed moment where she's guilt Li Fong. No, I can't let this happen to you. What's happened to my other son? I wanted her to, I wanted her to have a moment like that, like something that really showed how painful it was to lose her son. They never gave her that moment. So when she showed up, even when she showed up at the end for the final fight, it was just like, okay. Um,
They actually gave that to Mr. Han as his uncle.
yeah,
Like in the flashback, they showed
yeah,
him pretty like distraught.
right. And the romantic, like if you're looking for romance, like if you're looking for like something to tug at your heartstrings, like, oh, the chemistry, it's not there. In my opinion. I don't know how you feel, but in my opinion, the chemistry was not there, right? They didn't have that. Again, I'm gonna go back to the other movie. In the other movie, you know, there was a scene where there was a carnival, right? And there's like a lot of heart there. He's, Mr. Miyagi let him use, one of the whips, and that, I mean, it's like it's got a lot of heart to it. In this one, she asks him, uh Mia asked Li Fong to come to, I don't know if that was Coney Island or whatever, but to come to this carnival that they're having. And then he gets to the carnival, and the guy who she says she don't like, Connor, she hates the guy. This the same guy that punched him in the eye on the train. She cozying up to him. So when he arrives at the carnival, he sees her. He sees her cozying up to the dude, and he's like, nah. So he left. And so now they got beef. She's like, why are you ignoring me the night of the fight with her father? It's like, why are you ignoring me? And he's like, I don't know. Ask Connor. So they have a little back and forth spat, but then she's like, no, I told Connor that I'm done making mistakes. I want to start some new mistakes
I'm
with
seeing
you.
someone else.
Yeah. So this is, but it didn't grab you. It did not grab you. Trust you me. I'm a softie for that type of stuff. I love a good love story. It wasn't there. It was not there. Um, I say the most chemistry, probably there's a little bit of chemistry, I would say, really between Mr. Han and Lee Fong. There's like some chemistry there. Daniel LaRusso is like a third wheel. It just, to me, it didn't fit. They even gave them a fight scene for no reason, for none, no reason whatsoever. In the middle of the tournament, while they're in the tournament, and Lee Fong, I think he just won his fight with a different character, with a different person. He just won his fight. The dojo, the owner of the dojo, does like a little thing to some guys who are in the audience of the tournament, and they go to attack Lee Fong, and Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han are there, and they start fighting. Look out behind you. And there's like this three-way fight. And you're like, what the hell is happening? And then that was it. It ended as quickly as it started, and that was it. And you're like, what the hell was that? Crazy. Listen, y'all ain't got to listen to me. But if you, this weekend, I would go see Mission Impossible, or I would go, Thunderbolts or Final Destination, something like that. I definitely don't waste your time, right? And it was empty. And I know it's a Thursday, but it's empty up in there. I don't imagine that it's gonna be packed. Um, this is a movie that's really, I think that is really directed towards like 12, 13, 14, 15 year olds.
Mm.
It's not it's not targeted for us old fogies. You an old fogey too now. But but I talked a lot. Tell me what you think. Give me some of your thoughts.
So I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. Um, I think it almost fell apart in the third act. Weirdly, after Mr. Han and Daniel Russo showed up, not because I thought they weren't cool. I thought they were. Um, but I thought that toward like in the third act, when once both of them are together, the movie kind of starts to lay it on pretty thick with the humor. Like in the first two acts, I thought there was a pretty neat balance between like humor and seriousness. And then once the both of them are together, then it kind of lays it on a bit more thick as
Mm,
far as like trying to be funny.
mm,
Um, one thing I think really, well, almost took me out when we got to the tournament
mm,
was when they did this animation for like the visuals for when certain points are scored off of people like
mm,
as hits are being struck.
mhm,
I didn't need that. I was perfectly fine with seeing how it was like in the original Karate Kid movies where we just see a straight up fight.
right.
Whereas here, they show you like in this graffiti animation style,
Oh yeah.
like
God.
points being scored with like
Yeah.
numbers as the
Terrible.
hits are being made.
Hmm.
And they pause like in certain moments to
Yeah.
like show people like the hits that are being shown, which
Yeah.
I feel like they didn't really need to do that. I could have
No.
done without that.
Terrible.
Thankfully, the final fight between Lee Fong and Connor didn't have that, but yeah, that like for the fights leading up to that, they did, and I was just like, I didn't need that.
Yeah.
Um, so I think, but that aside, I thought the movie had heart. I was worried in the
You
second act.
do?
I did
Okay.
for me.
Okay.
I think there was a point in the second act where I was worried, really worried, because I'm like, okay, we're focusing a lot on boxing now. I'm like, when are we going to get to like Karate Kid.
That was 30 minutes of the movie.
I was just like if you want to focus on a movie, like if you want to do a separate movie saying Karate Kid Legends,
The
the
boxing
boxing
kid,
yeah, you could have done that.
the boxing man.
Yeah, you could have done that. But yeah, there was like a lot of focus on that. And I didn't hate it because I could see how he was trying to incorporate kung fu type martial arts into the boxing to help this dude Joe out. But I'm like, when do we see the karate part of the movie? It's in the title. You would expect that. So I was getting worried at that point. But I thought the movie had heart in the sense that it really like it had a lot of good emotional beats. I think um the the story they were trying to tell with Li Fong and his brother, I think that had some depth to it that I appreciated. It was good to see how he had to overcome that trauma by focusing on what he could still do, focusing on the family that he still has and on his future as far as not just fighting but like as far as his life was concerned. I thought you could really feel for Lee Fong's character. Ben Wong's performance in this movie was pretty good.
This is just goes to show you how two people could go to a movie, and that's what movies are subjective, right? Two people could go to a movie and see two totally different things. I'm gonna say it one more time. This movie is trash. Right? If you guys go see this movie based on what DK is telling you all right now, when you come back to this video, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat attacking.
I'm not saying it's great. It's got problems, but it's I think it's just good. It almost went into like 6 out of 10 territory where I would say it's okay.
Well, since you're doing that, I was gonna wait until the end, but since you go ahead and do it, let's do it now. So you gave it 6 out of 10. All right.
No. I didn't. I said almost. I didn't give my final score.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
But I'm just saying I think it's good enough. Now, I don't
No. Now you filibustering. You said 6 out of 10. What is your score? I'm gonna wrap this up because I can't talk this long about a movie that I don't care about. This sucks. All right, we're dragging this out way too long. 6 out of 10 or no?
7 for me.
He went higher.
I said 6 wasn't my final score.
Okay, so 7 out of 10
for me.
4. 4 out of 300.
Wow.
Man, come on, man. 4 out of 10. Man, wait for this on Netflix. Not even video on demand. Don't even pay the money or Voodoo Fandango. Wait till it comes out on Netflix. Right? 4. Right? But that's how we feel. Tell us how you feel in the comments. So comment below and let us know what you think about the movie. This is really our first time doing an unscripted kind of spoilery review. Let us know how you feel about these. Is this something you want to see us do more often? Do you want to see us do kung fu movie reviews where we right after we finish watching them? Because there's a gang of movies that I haven't watched. Like right after, like I just purchased The Protector, the latest Donnie Yen joint. So I'd be more than willing to come on here and do a Protector spoiler review if you'd like. Leave us a comment and let us know what you'd like to see, if you'd like to see more of these or less of these. So that's it for now. I'm OG Ant. That's my man DK in the building. We'll catch you guys on the flip flop. Peace.
Take care.